Alright guys, it's Scrappy and I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The Black Ops 7 reveal for all of us officially arrived yesterday. Call of Duty Next has been and gone. Many other pro players finally got their chance to play this game at a high level and lots of reaction as well. Shotzzy, Scump, Simp among others dropping 100 kills, but also giving their thoughts on the wall bouncing mechanics, the state of the M8, do weapons need to be banned already? But what does this mean for competitive this year? Are we in for a good year, as they always tend to say, or is this time actually going to be different? Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. We're going to dive right in. This is a pretty hilarious start here. Shotzzy turns a stream on and look at his face when he realizes that he's obviously not meant to stream the gameplay yet and there's guys behind him actually playing Black Ops 7 and he realized, hang on a second, oh, look at his face, right, when he realizes that maybe he's going to get in trouble for this. But obviously it was all okay. So he played the game. A lot of the guys have played the game before CoD Next went live yesterday. We'll see some initial impressions. I'll share a couple of clips in a few minutes' time. Bance may have been coaxed back into playing again. So Bance, one of the greatest European players ever, made two World Championship Grand Finals in 2016 in Black Ops 3, and then Black Ops Cold War, of course, with Toronto a couple of years later. Great player, champion, and he called it a day after the Esports World Cup this year. That was the implication anyway. But for many pro players, they're looking at BO7 and saying, well, you know, what about one last dance, right, before Infinity Wars come and ruin our world again? And Bance says, you know what, the new CoD looks insane. One more year. I'm running it back. Now, whether he will or not, we'll see. Whether that's a good idea or not, we'll see. But look, Black Ops 7 has certainly been getting some interest. We know that Illy's been talking about returning. I wouldn't be surprised if that remains true when the season comes out. But let's talk about some of the gameplay right now. The first thing I wanted to say is Scump actually got invited to this, which is a talking point in and of itself, because the last year I don't think Scump was there at CoD Next, because that lawsuit was still ongoing. We don't really know exactly what happened with all of that. Our understanding is that it was settled in arbitration, so look, we're probably not going to hear much more for some time. What we do know is that despite all the drama with Scump and Activision, he is still the face of CoD in many respects and has been invited to CoD Next, as of course he should be, but it is nonetheless a talking point. Now, first impressions, before we even talk about the M8, is this map. Like, there are a few maps in this game that already look pretty promising. We'll talk a bit more about the maps later on today, the way that they're laid out and some of these things, but they do remind me of actually decent classic maps in general. The way that they're designed. And, you know, there's lots of positive features, I think, to the way that these maps are, certainly compared to Black Ops 6. Oh my god. But we've also got to talk about the M8. So the M8 iron sights were never really used. The ELO sight here is on the M8. It's the 4-round burst AR, and Scump is just slamming with it. Now, look, is this gun pretty powerful? Yeah, he's hitting a load of one burst. Nowadays, the you know, the heat registration is way better than it used to be back in, let's say, Black Ops 2 when we're playing on consoles. And as a result, the guns are in large part even more deadly than they were before. I think there is an understandable discussion right now on the time to kill. The time to kill is strong. And yes, the M8, when you look at these kills, looks very impressive. And it is. It is very strong. Is it more dominance than some other weapons, which are also very powerful and kill very quickly? Not necessarily. I mean, Zuma was there. He was also running the M8. We got some, you know, perspectives on that from him. And I'll just, as I say, share a couple of clips so we can see what the M8 is up to. Like, a load of these kills he would be getting anyway with any gun that he had in hands. And yeah, is the M8 really good? Absolutely. Is it way too good, way too dominant? I'm not so convinced at that quite yet. There's plenty of other good weapons in the game. I just think people are expecting the M8 to be really good, and therefore they see it and like, wow, this is strong. And yeah, it is very strong. Shotzzy says, we got to GA this. I'm not even trolling. The gun might be way too good. I mean, look, he's getting some kills, but I don't know. I'm not saying any of these and be like, wow, this gun is like so insane it's got to go. But we'll see, right? Because the pro players, they might just decide to get rid of it anyway, or maybe the CDL can actually do something about it this year and decide that that is not going to be what we're playing. Octane also talks about the Drazah 45 needed to get GA'd. LA Thieves are down, need 8 more to get the 9-3 voting advantage. So already people are talking about GAs before anything has even started. But we also did have some pretty big kill lobbies. Scump dropped 107 in this lobby right here, so that was his first 100 plus. He was on a team with Hex, Westy, Hitch, Methods, and Shotzzy, and then himself, of course, dropped 107 eliminations on Toshin Hardpoint, which is definitely a map that could be in consideration next year to be in play. Scump gave his thoughts on it as well. He did talk about the time to kill. The time to kill is fast, for sure. Now, I will say, if you go back and look at the time to kill on some of the best Call of Duty games ever, it was also very fast, right? If you go back to Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, games around that time frame, in fact, the time to kill back then was actually really quick. Compared to, let's say, Black Ops 4, the time to kill was much slower. They had 150 health. The guns didn't kill as fast. There was also stim, stuff like this. But a lot of the classic CoD games that we know and love, the time to kill in those games was really quick. It wasn't as quick as Ghosts. That was insane. But I don't think that Black Ops 7 is a massive outlier in that sense. It does maybe feel kind of quick compared to previous years. I do generally prefer a longer time to kill. Tends to take more skill. You got to hit more bullets to kill the guy. But I think in general this isn't a massive concern for me. And, well, Scump says it's definitely quick, but maybe not going to be too outrageous when we actually get to the CDL play. This is Simp. His POV yesterday looked pretty absurd. I mean, shock horror, it's Simp, right? But he was dropping 105 kills against Scump and Shotzzy, I think, were on the other team. He also had Zuma on his team, and he thought he was getting costed a fair little bit. But yeah, it was cool to see some of the gameplay. Is that the Peacekeeper that he's got in hand there? Definitely looks like it with that. Well, it always used to have this camo, right, when it first arrived back into Black Ops 2 as a DLC gun. You dropped 105 eliminations, but unfortunately it's not enough, and Shotzy's team, they get the win at the end of the day. So there was some great gameplay happening yesterday. There was also this that was noted, before we talk about some of the movement stuff. I mean, one of the more overpowered things I've ever seen in CoD. This is a kill streak, right? So we talked about it the other day. Some of these kill streaks that could be old specialists could potentially come back. Now, this is not something we've seen before. Pretty funny, right? Just because you might look at this and say, well, this is the anti-cheat, right? Because let's say you've got a cheater on the other team and Ricochet doesn't work. Well, at least this gives you a way to still kill the guy regardless. So, I mean, look at this, right? You're using this sniper rifle, which can wall bang any surface, and you can see the outlines of the players exactly as if you were using hacks. And, well, Simp lined it up. He smashes this guy through the wall, and you can see that he gets, well, he gets the kill anyway. It's not super clear that he's actually got the kill, but the guy disappears and it says wall bang at the top of the screen. He then smashes another one through the wall. I mean, like, look how outrageous all of this is. So, and he gets plenty of shots in this as well. He's got like 10 shots, so it's actually kind of insane how much power is in this thing. I don't know how this is allowed, to be perfectly honest. I think maybe it is time to go. I'd be fuming dying to that thing. Definitely one of the score streaks of all time. I'm not expecting it to be, used in competitive play, of course. I don't think they're going to be popping this one. I mean, look how outrageously strong this thing is. He does eventually go down, but yeah, the pros aren't going to be using that, I wouldn't imagine. And even if you couldn't shoot it, it still gives you unbelievable information. You can just see all of the enemies through the wall at all times. You could spin around and get so much information. It's, yeah, pretty ludicrous in my opinion. But we've got to talk about the movement, right? Because I was expecting it to be pretty impressive what Shotzzy was up to, but I don't think I expected it to be quite this extreme, even when I saw the trailer the other day. And this creates a very interesting dynamic, I think, for the way that the CDL is going to be played this season. We're going to be seeing a lot of stuff like this. So here we are. I think this is a map called Blackheart. I don't expect this to be a competitive map. It's probably a little too small. But you can see that the general, let's say, meta in this game when getting into gunfight is to make sure you're close to a wall that you can wall bounce off and then hit some crazy movement. Now, of course, this clip does not show it the best, but already you're starting to see the fact that it's Omni movement taken to a new level, right? Because the wall bouncing stuff you can do, you can get into normal gunfights just like this, and things are getting pretty intense here. But then when you get into certain gunfights, the opportunity is definitely there if you are near a wall to hit a little wall bounce. Now, obviously people are still perfecting it, absolutely. But the meta will be, if you think you're going to get into a gunfight, more than likely you will stand near a wall and you can hit a little wall bounce off it. And I've got some other clips to show that even more severely than this. This is actually a great one. So Shotzzy hops up here. He gets into a little bit of a gunfight. I mean, look at that chow that he did. I mean, he does get smoked here, by the way. But look at this chow he makes. He hops onto the wall, bounces off it, and he's like, that's basically a jetpack double jump, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of brilliant on a way, depending on what you like. I'm just a little bit surprised it's got to this point, because we've been talking about having jetpacks back, and effectively they are in some way, right? It's not quite the same, but I mean, look at what he does here, right? I mean, I'll put this in slow motion, and yeah, he does get slammed here, and we'll see how. But he jumps onto this wall, bounces off it to take the gunfight. The guy doesn't chow. And then he bounces off the second wall as well to give himself some forward momentum. And then the other guy's bouncing off the wall back. I mean, we've not seen stuff like this since probably Black Ops 3. He nearly kills him, but he does get guns. And you'll see from the other guy's perspective exactly what he does to kill Shotzzy in this scenario. And I think the other guy actually did have his POV as well. Yeah, this was Zyro's POV of that gunfight. So he goes around the corner, he hits a stim shot, and then he does his own one. And what I find interesting about this is that look at these big canisters on the wall here, right? You would expect maybe I can't wall bounce off that, but he actually can. He jumps off it, he wall bounces, and he guns Shotzzy out of the sky. So yeah, this is pretty crazy, I think, and it's going to be spectacular, I think, to watch, and I think it's going to be really fun to play. I know that skill-based matchmaking is still going to be a thing, but I know that there's lots of people that'll be really excited about this, because when they said, oh, well, wall bouncing, you can only do it, 3 times wall to wall, it kind of felt like, oh, there were only going to be certain spots maybe you could do it. There were like certain walls that would be wall bounceable walls. But no, this is like a key core feature now of the Omni movement mechanics in the game. And the fact that like Shotzzy's, I mean, this is probably the clip of the day in my opinion in terms of what this game is going to look like, because this is day 1, right? Like this is day 0, this is day -1, this is CoD Next. This isn't even giving the players months to work with this stuff, right? And as Simp says, how I felt wall bouncing every single gunfight today, he just hits the wall and bang, he's gone, right? Which is exactly how it feels. And it's definitely a different world playing this game, it seems, compared to the last few Call of Duties where none of this advanced movement stuff has existed. So as Shotzzy says, like, this is going to be a very core feature of the game. Like, you are going to see people wall bouncing if they can almost every single gunfight. If I'm expecting a gunfight, I'm standing near a wall, and when I see the guy, I'm hitting a little wall bounce, right? I'm hitting a little double jump off the wall to try and gun him, right? And if I know I'm going to get in a gunfight with someone, I've got to be prepared to hit a wall bounce back. It's going to make it real interesting. And also, okay, let's say you've got Shotzzy, comes flying around the corner of the wall bounce, but you've got Huke who slides out low, or you've got Pred who's laying on the floor anyway, right? It's going to be very interesting to see how different players approach this game. A couple of clips I wanted to share for you guys as we, well, continue the topic here.
I can't really talk about the game too much, but obviously we know wall bouncing is a thing. Just know, bro, once you guys see this gameplay, I know I say it every year. Well, actually, no, I feel like I don't say it every year. But like this game specifically, I feel like a lot of people are gonna enjoy it. Genuinely, and I actually mean that. Even if you're not even like a movement tech person, Dale, it is the best Call of Duty of all time. Even if you're not a movement person, I think just the game itself, the way that it feels, bro, it's like a way fine tuner version of Black Ops 6 is the best way to explain it. And I'm not even. I would personally say 10 because one, this is a beta. It's not even the full game, and bro, it's just the way that it feels, dude. Like it feels so fucking nice. Like this is probably the best. This is genuinely probably the best in the game. Like honestly, I've never played. I'm not even joking. I mean that us.
Guys in. Oh my god, Hex has got good strats. Alright, let's see if we can pull it in off now. Hold on. Hold on. Go back invisible. Maybe not. Oh, we flipped. Absolutely. Get the device, bro. No. Oh. Oh, I'm going for crazy shit.
How's the gunplay feeling after the initial 2 hours? Great, man. Like I said, it's very, very similar to BO6. Very, very similar. You guys are going to see a lot of like I don't know, what's the word? Cross-pollination between like BO6, BO4, and like BO3. It's like a love child of all those 3 games. It's got like BO6 gunplay, wall bouncing reminds you a little bit of BO3, and then the time to kill actually is very quick. The time to kill is fast. But stim shots are good. Stim shots are godlike. Stim shots are super quick. They're actually very useful. Yo, it might be too fast. Y'all are going to see, dude, people drop like immediately.
But of course, some debate on whether this is really going to be so dominant or whether there are ultimate other options. As Scrap says, can't wait to test my movement out on this game. We know that Scrappy doesn't like to abuse the movement all that much. He will post up and he will gun you and he will, play fast, but he won't go crazy with it. Karma says, little snail. Scrap says everyone's going to be wall bouncing, but the iron always wins. So that's Scrap's logic on this. Like, the wall bouncing will be a core component, but Scrap says, look, from an AR perspective, I will just be moving fast, but I'll be setting up and I'll be waiting for you to come flying off that wall and I'll be taking you down. We will see which comes to prevalence when the game actually arrives, but I think Shotzzy early doors, among other players, will be pretty happy with the way this game looks at the moment. So very much into your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Just one final thing on the maps, we're going to discuss them a bit more later today, but Ghost of Hope says, Season 1 of this game, I think Ranked is going to drop in Season 2, that was I think what they said yesterday, but it will have the most 6v6 maps ever given in a map drop before. So they've got seemingly okay maps to start with, and apparently it's only going to get better. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm a little bit optimistic about us at least having a decent competitive season. Now, I think, look, whether the game is good or bad, time will tell, but what I will say for sure is that it's going to be fun to watch, and I think we can take that at least out of yesterday. So very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.